true story of the original Annabelle doll began when she terrorized her first owner in 1970, forcing Ed and Lorraine Warren to take her to their occult museum for safekeeping. She sits in a glass case bearing a hand-carved inscription of the Lord's Prayer, while a pleasant smile rests on her happy face sitting under a mop of red hair. But beneath the case is a sign that reads, "Warning, positively do not open." In 1952, Ed and Lorraine Warren established the New England Society for Psychic Research, or NESPR, to investigate reported hauntings. While Ed and Lorraine have since passed away, NESPR is led today by their son-in-law, Tony Spera. Over the decades, NESPR has looked into many paranormal events that would later become famous movies, including the Perron family haunting from The Conjuring, The Haunting in Connecticut, and perhaps most famously, The Horrors of Amityville. None of these events, however, have captured imaginations quite like Annabelle. According to NESPR, Annabelle's story begins in 1970, when a 28-year-old nursing student named Donna received a raggedy doll from her mother as a birthday present. Donna would keep the doll on her bed in the apartment she shared with her roommate, Angie. Shortly after receiving the doll, Donna and Angie began to notice it in positions they hadn't left it in. Sometimes, even finding it in a new room. On a few occasions, Donna has said to have left the doll on the couch, only to later to come home and find it on her bed behind the closed bedroom door. Their friend Lou had a bad feeling about the doll and told Donna to get rid of it. Donna didn't listen, not even after finding pieces of parchment paper, which they did not keep in their home, with messages such as, "Help us," and "Help Lou," scribbled on them in a child's handwriting. One day, after noticing drops of what appeared to be blood on the doll's chest and hands, Donna and Angie decided to contact a medium. The medium conducted a seance, which revealed the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, living in the doll. Stories differ, but some say that her body was found in the field where Donna and Angie's apartment was later constructed. The medium said Donna and Angie made Annabelle feel loved, and that the spirit wanted to stay. Donna felt bad for the girl, and gave permission for the spirit to live inside the doll. Lou, however, was not as accepting of the spirit's good intentions. One night, Lou awoke from a bad dream to a sensation of paralysis. He looked down at his legs, and saw Annabelle, who began to crawl up his body to his chest, where the doll started to strangle him. Lou eventually passed out. In the morning, he was convinced the encounter had not been a dream. The day after Annabelle allegedly tried to strangle Lou, he and Angie were preparing for a road trip when they heard a loud wrestling noise in Donna's room. When he went to investigate, Lou found no evidence of anyone being in the room, though Annabelle appeared to have been tossed on the floor. As he approached the doll, Lou suddenly doubled over in pain, clutching his chest through his now blood-soaked shirt. He opened his shirt to reveal claw scratches in the mark of the beast. It said Lou's chest healed almost immediately, and that all signs of the claw marks had disappeared within 2 days. At this point, Donna decided enough was enough and contacted a priest. Another higher-ranking priest then contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens determined the doll was not actually possessed, as according to NESPR, inanimate objects cannot be possessed. Instead, Annabelle was being manipulated by an inhuman demonic spirit, which was using the doll to search for a human host. According to the Warrens, the demon was only a few weeks from completing its infestation, which could have resulted in the death of Donna, Angie, and Lou. Though they didn't believe the doll was possessed by a girl named Annabelle, the doll continues to be referred to by that original name. The Warrens asked a priest to perform an exorcist blessing on Donna and Angie's home, and Donna asked the Warrens to remove Annabelle from the apartment. Annabelle, however, would not go without a fight. While driving the doll back to their house, the Warrens claimed the car would swerve on its own and that the brakes would fail. After several near misses, Ed crossed the doll with a vial of holy water, which allowed them to finish their trip. Back at the Warrens' home, the doll resumed its haunting, moving throughout the house on its own and even levitating out of a chair next to Ed's desk. While visiting the Warrens, Father Jason Bradford, a Catholic exorcist, reportedly picked up Annabelle from the chair it was sitting in and said, quote, "You're just a ragdoll, Annabelle, you can't hurt anyone." Then threw it back down into the chair. Lorraine instructed Father Jason to be extra cautious while driving and to call them when he got home. 3 hours later, the Warrens got a call from Father Jason, saying his brakes went out as he entered an intersection and that his car had been totaled. This was not the only car accident allegedly caused by the doll. One visitor to the Warrens' collection reportedly banged on the case that houses Annabelle and taunted it, begging the doll to prove it was haunted by scratching him. After Ed asked the man to leave, the man got on his motorcycle with his girlfriend and rode off. According to Lorraine, the girlfriend later told the Warrens she and the man were laughing about the doll when the man suddenly lost control of the motorcycle, crashing into a tree and killing him. When a mother purchased an innocent-looking doll in 1970, she was simply hoping to give her daughter a cute birthday present. There was no way she could have known the horrifying stories and cinematic blockbusters that would result from the gift. Whether Annabelle is done tormenting the people she comes in contact with, or if she still has more nightmares to inflict on those who cross her path, the mystery remains unsolved. So what do you think of Annabelle's story? Is the real Annabelle doll truly a vessel for a demonic spirit in search of a human host? Here are 2 handpicked videos that we've carefully chosen for you to watch. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth content like this.